Hello, Pi Nation. Welcome to the unofficial Pi Network podcast number 7. And this is going to cover what I have come across or what has stood out to me in the last 2 weeks. And seems like things have slowed down a little bit for me here, and that's going to happen. So, this is actually 2 weeks worth of information, even though there is not a whole lot to cover here as far as what's new. I'd like to just remind you of a few things that I've come across already, and a few more that might be interesting. So if you are starting off with the Pi network, if you want to download that app and start mining some cryptocurrency, you can use my code Converge20 in order to start doing that as an invitation code. Likewise, the B network is very similar to Pi. It's, I would say, almost a clone of Pi. So if you want to download that and start mining cryptocurrency on your phone, you can use my invite code Converge21. And for those of you at the moment, this is January 2021. If you want to download Timestope, then it's Timestope. You can find it in the notes below. That can also be used to mine cryptocurrency on your phone, and who knows where these might go, but they don't take much in the way of time in order to use. So there's that. I've also been experimenting with this Fold app, and if you have a chance to get an invitation to that, I'd encourage you to do that, because I invited someone and she was able to get 20,000 Satoshis when she signed up with an invitation. So I'd highly encourage you to use an invitation code to sign up with the Fold application on your phone. If you need one of those, drop me a line in the in the comments below, and we'll get that sorted out somehow. So maybe you can hit me up on Twitter, and like I said, just hit me up in the comment section below, and we'll go from there. So the first thing I wanted to just mention here is this idea of politics. There's been a lot of politics in the news lately, with the U.S. elections that just rounded up, I suppose, with the inauguration officially of the new U.S. president, Biden, and Harris as the vice president. Definitely wish them luck. But yeah, there was a lot going on with politics in the news. And so the idea came across that politics is invented to prevent violence. And so it kind of moves the specter of violence from the physical realm to the mental, psychological realm, which is important because you can recover, I suppose, more easily from the mental, psychological violence than from the physical violence. I mean, doctors aren't very easily able to replace limbs and functioning body parts and things like that. The mind is also, quite able and susceptible to damage, but, it's just a really huge added hurdle if you are dealing with physical debilities as well. So that's something that I thought was interesting, and it might be a reason to engage in politics. And I'm thinking that the politics of the various cryptocurrency networks and the Pi network specifically need a great deal of attention. What political structure will be in place, will be set up, And so I think that, there's a great deal of thought that needs to be dedicated to that. There's another thought that I had, and this one deals with proof of work mining situations as opposed to proof of stake mining situations. So there was a news article that spoke about Iran taking the Bitcoin mining gear for certain of its miners. And this was interesting because it seemed like a confiscation of property, but also it's, evidence of a state actor moving against a network to a certain degree. And so there are a few ways of looking at this. One, it's like confiscation of your gold, it's confiscation of equipment. And so maybe they don't take your Bitcoin, they don't take the Bitcoin from your Bitcoin address. And so you would move out of that jurisdiction. You would not go back. And the technology that is used to mine Bitcoin is advancing sufficiently so that maybe that country, that state actor would not be able to keep up their hashing rate, without sufficient investment. If they continued with that practice, they would be, priced out of the market, or their technology would become obsolete over time, and so they wouldn't be able to compete very well in the market. But that still doesn't, negate the setback for those who were offended by the confiscation of their mining property. So that is a drawback of the proof of work, and I definitely don't see it as a death nail for it, but it's just something to be aware of. Where proof of stake doesn't have that real world energy footprint or that real world physical footprint that can be confiscated. So that's something to be aware of also. So companies or countries are not able to take over the infrastructure that much for proof of stake as opposed to the proof of work idea. So there was that. There's also this idea that Bitcoin is volatile because it is alive. And so I often come across this with the idea of, having a clean house. I know some people might get upset because a house gets dirty, the table gets dirty, a living room gets dirty, a kitchen, is constantly filled with dishes. And I think of it such a way that if you have a house and, I have access to a house and there are, never any dishes in the sink. There's, you put something on the table, it stays on the table. You take it off the table, nothing else goes on the table. And the reason why, nothing goes into the sink and nothing goes on the table is because this house is not alive. There's nobody living there. And so, if you want something to stay the same, if you want it to not change, then you want it to be dead. You don't want vitality. You don't want volatility. Bitcoin is volatile because of its vitality, because it is alive, because it is growing. Things that are not dead are not volatile. They have no vitality. Or, some things that are on their way, maybe to death or close to death, have way less vitality. So you look at gold, and its performance in 2020, and it grew 15%, under the best social and economic circumstances that are the argument for it as a store of value. It grew 15%, whereas Bitcoin, the idea whose time has come, its value has increased 300% in that same time span. So you keep on doing this time and time again, and you will realize that one is alive, and so, it's volatile and it has vitality, and one is not. So there is definitely a move from, you know, the old school thinking, the old school store of value. And, gold has served the purpose to a new digital monetary network type of situation that is, you know, a store of value and interactivity between humanity, between the various aspects of humanity. The last idea I'd like to go with is, the idea that the Grayscale Bitcoin Trust, they're looking to offer products that are based on Chainlink, Tezos, Filecoin, and a few other digital assets. And I thought that was interesting because I've been keeping an eye on these products, and they seem to have a definite place in the market, even though they might not be performing up to par with the recent run up uh, in value in the Bitcoin network. So this is definitely unfolding. Um, there's a lot that has been made in the last week about the double spend issue that seemed to occur on the Bitcoin network, and there's a great explanatory and educational video put out by Andreas Antonopoulos that really helped me see more clearly what that issue is, that it's an old issue, a known issue, and it's an issue that is already resolved. It's been resolved. It was resolved in the white paper published for Bitcoin at its inception. So it's not new. It's not a thing. The network is still secure. It's still safe. And so the dip that has happened in that time is just a buying opportunity for anyone interested in getting in at a better price point, or want to dollar cost average down their investment. So those are some ideas that I'd like to, just reiterate and express. Um, like I said, this is not going to be a long one. I'll do my best to get something put out, once a week. And if I don't have a whole lot, then maybe it'll be every 2 weeks. But until next time, keep mining those Pi coins, those B coins, those time stop coins. No, it might seem, like futility at this point, but the future is unknown, and hindsight is 2020. I had a chance at one point to have to mine Bitcoin on my computer, and I thought it was going up real slow because over the course of like a month, maybe I would have 1 Bitcoin, or over the course of a month, I would have I don't know, 5 Ether or something like that. And so at this point, looking at it, that's what, $5,000 in Ethereum and 1 Bitcoin over the course of a month. That's 30 grand. So you put those together, that's $35,000 in the course of a month, Now that's time dilated, time differentiated. That's a time, distinct view. But time invested now in the networks that we're working with is worth its weight in gold, literally. So if you have the opportunity to put the time in now to get these things done, I encourage you to keep it going. I have the experience to know that these things you are not able to tell the impact that they will have going forward. So put in the time now, support the projects now, and you don't know, what kind of outsized rewards might be headed your way in the not too distant future. So that's it for now. Hope you all are staying safe out there, and keep mining those Pi coins. So keep on pioneering, and keep on rethinking.